So in this video, I'm going to show you how I try to create beautiful images even during the worst lighting conditions. So hi everyone, this is Jiggie, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So before anything else, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel and would want to learn more about off-camera flash photography or maybe just photography in general, then this channel may be for you. You might want to consider subscribing, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to see more of my images, you could always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. So here's the thing. As photographers, we are always faced with that situation in which we have no choice but to shoot. In other words, we can't say we can't shoot at this time because the light is like this or like that. It is really dependent. Of course, we do have a choice. In other words, we can plan our shoot properly so that we can shoot at a particular time. However, you will be faced with a situation that you might have to really make do with what you have and try to get the best out of it. The same happened here, and basically in this engagement shoot that I will be showing you today, we actually had a time frame of about 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock to shoot, because we were traveling to a place called Five Fingers in Bataan in the Philippines, and the only time we could actually go to that location was in the morning, because in the afternoon the waves will be too strong and it's no longer safe for us to actually be there. So it takes quite a while for us to actually get there, and more or less we were able to start shooting between 10 to 2 o'clock only, or 10 to 3 o'clock only in the afternoon. Not even 3, because 3 o'clock we are already back at shore. So I had that window only to shoot between 10 to 2. And you know very well that is actually the worst time to shoot, because of the fact that the light is directly above the subject, therefore giving those really ugly shadows on that subject's face. Now, I may come up actually with another video talking about why I actually love shooting at this time when I'm shooting wide, because right now I'm going to show you a couple of portraits, but basically I like shooting wide during 10 to 2 o'clock because the clouds or the color of the sky is really different. The sky is bluer than blue during that time if you know how to control it. But that's another video. I'll save that for another video. Let me know in the comment section if you guys actually want me to make that video. Now, so I am now going to show you some behind the scenes photos and explain to you how I actually tamed that midday, harsh midday sun and created what I believe to be some beautiful portraits. Okay, so this was the situation, or this was the scene that I was actually shooting in. And the reason why I chose to shoot here, well, this was really just on the side of a mountain. And I felt that her red dress would really pop from this dried grass here. You can see the light that I was using and the modifier that I was using, they were both from Photix. The light was actually this one. This is the Photix Indra 500. This is a 500 watt studio strobe that's capable of high-speed sync and TTL. Now, the nice thing about these things is because they have battery packs, which allows me to bring it to remote locations like this. Now, why did I bring my 500 watt light instead of just my speed lights or a light that's actually smaller? Well, I knew that we were already shooting at that time, and I needed as much power that I can get in order for me to be able to tame the sun and shoot in high-speed sync, because I knew there are some portraits I will actually be shooting it in high-speed sync. Now, some of you may ask, why didn't I use an ND filter during that time? Was because I tried to limit basically what I would be bringing and what I would have to connect to my camera, since again, this location was quite remote and I didn't really want to have to change filters depending on the situation, and this was the time before I got those Vari NDs. Now, if I had my Vari ND at this time, then maybe I might not have brought this light, or I probably still would have, but I wouldn't have shot in high-speed sync anymore, and I would have just put an ND filter. Okay, now the camera that I was using here was my Sony a7R Mark II in the 85mm 1.8 lens. So the first thing that I did was really expose for my existing ambient light. In other words, I exposed so that I would be able to control the highlights here in her hair and the highlights here in the background. But as you can see, there is really a really harsh shadow on her face. You could see it here, you could see it here, and it's really unflattering. And if I shot it in terms of exposing for her face with ambient light, I would have blown out everything, which would have destroyed the entire concept of the shoot. So what I did is, after dialing this in, I actually shot it now with flash, and you could see the big difference. Look at that to this one, that to this. And all I did was really underexpose the scene, pop a flash. By the way, the modifier that I used was my 80mm Raja from Photix. It's a deep octabank. The nice thing about those Raja series is that it's very easy for you to put it together. It's like an umbrella, so you just have to push it down and it opens up into a nice, really deep softbox. Beautiful, beautiful modifiers. And I shot this at 1.8 and of course ISO 100. Now, when I got this shot, I decided maybe I should actually take another layout, but this time I changed my lens. I then put in my 50mm 1.4 and I still shot this wide open at f1.4. And again, the first thing that I did was really expose for my existing ambient light. So this one, I think, was a tad bit underexposed. That's why I had to bring it back so that I can bring out the highlights here in the hair and more details here in the shadow. And with the same technique, I just popped the flash and here goes. My flash was coming from here. This time I has 1/8000 f1.4. Again, that's why I needed this much power. This Photix Indra at 500 watts was more than enough, or more than capable, of actually doing high-speed sync even with an 80 cm octabank and still create these images at 1/8000 of a second in terms of your shutter speed, and at f1.4 for that matter. So that's why I brought this one. And again, from here to this one. Okay, so that's how simple it was. That's how simple it is to actually control the midday sun. The most important thing for you to remember is that the sun is not actually your enemy. It could actually serve a purpose, in which in this case, I used it to light up the rest of the background however I controlled it. I controlled it using my shutter speed, my ISO, and my aperture. Then everything else was lit using my flash. So again, we were able to create what I believe to be, beautiful images, even in what others may consider to be the worst lighting condition. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and don't forget to like this channel and subscribe, and while you're at it, click that notification bell. Now, if you guys want to learn more about off-camera flash photography, I do hold one-on-one online workshops, the details of which I will put in the description below. Okay, and also if you want to see more of my images, I'm on Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. Okay, till the next video.